the history of neon is interesting. Now, I think that we found some stuff. And by we, I mean a very special documentarian on Instagram and on YouTube. And you could follow him at Easty7. Easty7, that's right. That's his name is Eastwood Allen. And he put out a documentary 10 years ago that he put together called Someday I'll Fly. Now, if you're a Mayer fan, I'm sure you're aware of this. If you're not aware of it, go check it out. It's very easy to find out there. Should be, at least. I haven't looked for it in a while, but hopefully it still is. But, through making that documentary, I almost said documentary, he made connections with, I think he's met John Mayer. He's, certainly met some people that John Mayer worked early on with. And that's how this came about. Now, I said the history of neon, it's a motif that exists. I don't know that this song that we're going to hear, this version, called Something Like Neon from 1996, is necessarily the precursor to neon. We've heard other things as far as like how a song might go from one to another. A lot of artists will have, an unfinished or kind of interesting kind of idea that then translates into one of their iconic songs. I don't know that this is how Neon was written. I do think, though, Easty7 is correct in his assessment that the motif of neon itself, just what that represents, what the word can represent, was definitely on his mind, and I don't think it had been fully developed yet with this song. But let's check it out, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. So here is from 1996, Something Like, appropriately named based on how we're discussing it, Something Like Neon.
Neon, neon, driving on, black and neon.
Still groovy. Really cool video, man. Eastwood. So cool.
On the road alone, in the highway's eyes, driving's one, we changed our minds. Dashboard lights, eerie glow, shows me you, I'll never know.
Obviously, song structure changed for Mayer later on.
I needed somewhere to get away.
It's Joe Belesne
I wanted some time to hear you say.
It's awesome to hear
Nothing I said to make
somebody who
you stay.
shared, a spotlight with who would eventually become a
Was just a day
icon, John
away.
Mayer. It's so cool. Nice of him to share a verse.
If I spoke my mind, would you be surprised? I've all too much to say, with all the time. Street lights high, scan your eyes. Don't have to speak, thoughts are mine.
Have we had a mention of neon yet? I don't think so.
Driving on, black and neon.
Oh, we did. Yeah. Black and neon. Okay. So you kind of get the idea. It's certainly, like I said, song structure and efficiency in song structure are definitely learned skills. And, but this is, again, as I said earlier, everything Mayer does, and I would assume even 1996 John Mayer, is very intentional. I don't think that they were aiming to write a super tight 2.5 minute pop song when they came up with this. It's kind of a dreamy, floaty sort of thing, which is really cool. I do want to read Easty7's Instagram caption, because I do think there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. So Eastwood Allen is your name also. Just, so referring to somebody as their Instagram name is kind of weird, but I end up doing it because some people I only know from their Instagram name, so it's kind of funny. But so anyway, here's the caption. Before John Mayer's hit song in Neon, there was a different track originally titled Neon, recorded back in the summer of 1996 when JM was 18, 5 years before he signed with Columbia Records and released his debut album in 2001. So is the song called something like Neon, or is it actually called Neon? Not sure. You tell me, people in the comments. I'm sure you will. Let's see. So, recorded summer of 1996 on DAT machines, which is digital audio tape, precursor to everyone having GarageBand and all sorts of fun recording software on their computers and phones. In Fairfield, Connecticut, of course. And as we said, you got Mayer on vocals, guitar, and drums. Joe Bellisney, sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly, vocals. And Sam Morrissey on bass. Super cool. Now, again, I mentioned this is kind of an addendum to Eastwood Allen's documentary, Someday I'll Fly, which he did back in 2014. He said, I've had the fortune of speaking with some of Mayer's band members, both old and new, including Joe and Sam from his first hometown bands, Another Roadside Attraction and Villanova Junction, names that are probably familiar to the Mayer superfans out there. The guys shared memories and materials with me, including photos, cover art, liner notes, and several tape recordings, one of which was the song titled Neon. Later titled something like Neon, to make a distinction between the two. Oh, interesting. Okay, and I wonder if the guys went back and retitled it after Mayer wrote Neon later on. So how cool is this that, friends of Mayer, who I don't know if he's still in contact with, I have no idea, but I mean, like, it's really cool that they trusted this guy, Eastwood Allen, to get some of these materials. I mean, that's really cool, that they feel like he's a good torch carrier, and he is, because like I said, the documentary Someday I'll Fly, which just turned 10 years old, is really cool. Go check that out. And so is this. So what do you think about 1996 Mayer's voice, his guitar playing, the song? What do you think? I mean, you can tell it's him immediately when he's singing. Obviously, he sounds younger. His approach to singing is a little bit different. The song is obviously very different than anything he did later on. But the fact that this was only 5 years out from a Columbia record deal, Aware Records, and his, the first pressing of Inside Wants Out, and then, of course, the first pressing of Room for Squares, that's amazing. That's an amazing progression in 5 years. Think about where you were 5 years ago. And then, and just how short of a time that was. I mean, that was 2019 as of recording this video. So the fact that much changed, that much growth happened in that amount of time is actually kind of mind-boggling to think about. It's a very quick progression. But you look back, and a lot of these great artists have have times like that where it's like there's just this insane amount of growth. You hear early stuff, and there are seeds of greatness, and there's seeds of genius, and then you hear, where their debut, where everybody kind of knew who they were, ended up, and like the fact that that amount of things can change in that short period of time, to catapult them into the career that they will have is pretty incredible. Particularly, I'm somebody who's worked at similar things like this my whole life, and there were definitely periods of time of like more quick growth, but nothing like this. Obviously, that's why I'm on YouTube and wherever you're listening to this talking about it, as opposed to being somebody you're talking about. But that's neither here nor there. I just think it's really amazing when you see this trajectory, and it's evidence here by the sort of original version of Neon. It's like I said earlier, it's not necessarily a song that he took and then transformed into what is probably one of the most iconic guitar songs, certainly of the last 25 years. People who don't even like John Mayer are like, oh yeah, Neon, I know Neon. And then they proceed to either say they can't play it like me, or if they attempt like me, they play it incorrectly and are immediately called out by the comment sections on YouTube and the internet. So